So this is a disassembly video just because someone requested it. Basically undo the two screws here, pull off the wires. The assembly of the wires goes black here, red over here, and they both come to the back. Red loops around over the top onto the motor. So that means the positive would be here, negative would be in the back here. Okay, so after you do that, undo some screws here. The reason I'm taking this apart is because the gun will cycle, but it's kind of terrible. And I don't mean anything related other than to the wiring. So while I'm taking this apart, and since somebody requested a video of this just today, I thought, well, why not do it for them at least? Okay, so I switched the selector over so that I have room to remove it. And you just turn here with a hex key. And once you get this off, you want to be careful because there's a little ball bearing that comes out. Okay, I put that in something so I don't lose it, and then you do the other side. So you want to make sure you kind of do this on a flat surface. You don't want it to roll away from you. And then take this off here. And I will make an assembly video as soon as I switch the wiring out on this. Other things I've done for this guy's gun, I have Swiss cheesed the piston, sorbothane, radiused also the cylinder wall, so it's got sorbothane in there too. Angle of engagement has been corrected. The piston, so you undo this right here. It can be from above sometimes, it depends from below, it depends how you put it in here. I like to have it from below, it's easier to access it. You can see that as I'm doing this. What you want to do is kind of wiggle it. There you go. So here's these two pieces. There's a small hex screw in there, you don't want to lose on that piece. And now, once you get to this point, you're going to want to do the back. If you have a SCAR H SSR or SCAR H, there's going to be a block here. You're going to have to unscrew that from down here. That will come out when you get this other stuff done, and you can pull it out together. So the back needs to be undone. You got two screws here and then a third one that connects to the gearbox spring guide. Try not to strip these. It is possible to strip them. Pull that out. Pull that out, and then the big screw. You gotta be careful on this one because this one does attach to the spring guide better. The SCAR H's has something in between it right here that you have to catch. It's a washer, and it makes only a portion of this actually go into the back, which makes it easy to strip that screw, so you have to be careful of that. Once you pull that off, you just push up, push up. Now these are what I'm going to replace. These can easily be taken off. You can just pull them out. take the spring from them. What you want to remember is that right side here is red, then black. That way you know when you put it back in your thing. So once you get to this point, you've got everything ready to pull the receiver out. And basically what these are, just so other people know, is this just a connector that holds those pieces, and those push into the stock to make it wireless. Because the stock just has little prongs at the back, and then when you open the stock, it's inside the ring. It goes through a ring, basically, the rotation of the stock. I'm not going to explain that all in depth. So if you have a scar, you know, VFC scar, you know what it is. So you just pull this out, and these two pieces right here are gonna come out. Don't worry about the knowing how they go on, because I'll make a video for that too, how to put it back together. So basically there it is. And like I said, if you had scar H, you would have undone a screw down here, and then this thing would come out with it. And when you're working on scar H, when you put it together, you definitely want to make sure that's one of the first things you do. You put on the front piece here, and you would put it in and screw it in place, because, well, actually that's not, you can't do that by itself. You have to put selectors too. You have to slide it down, so it can be a little bit of a pain, but don't forget about that process, because if you put it all together, then you got to take it all apart to put it back in there. Okay, so while I'm here, I might as well take this apart just to show some of the other things that I've done. You can see JB weld around the, well, I guess that JB weld didn't hold too well, because I did file it a little bit, around the bushings, which helps to keep the bushings from spinning. Which helps keep the bushings from spinning. I've noticed in the past that if you just put just a little bit, even just half side of the bushing, it keeps it from spinning. So go ahead, just undo this. And then I'm just gonna replace the wiring. Try not to get these screws mixed up, so I set those aside. So in your disassembly, you're going to have an issue with this too. There is the tiniest possible hex screws in here, which is a pain in the ass. They are very, very, very tiny. I had to use something like this and modify it to fit in there. But once you get these screws out, you never should put them back in again. I never suggest them, because once you put this in the body, there's no way this can come undone. I don't even know why VFC thought, you know, they must be necessary, but you can pop these off with like a screwdriver. I like to use this one, and just move it to a certain location and just kind of pry it up. It's trying to be difficult. Alright, so once you get it up, just pull it out. And like I said, you'll never want to have those screws again, just take them out. You don't really need them anymore. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up just for the rest of the video to see. So this is your whole disassembly guide. Make sure that your piston is at the front with your anti-reversal latch. I have a lot of videos for taking apart the gearbox. I'll basically go over the same step now real quick. So I feel where the piston is. It's near the front. So you can just go ahead and pull the anti-reversal latch for the tap-up plate. on this gun, it's really cool, or a gearbox, you can just flip it over and there's the interverse latch right there. And go ahead and try spinning the gear a little bit, and there you can see it released itself. And then just put it along Phillips, pop this off here. You can press down all the gears, axles, and the anti-reversal latch and lift this straight up, and you have access to the whole gearbox. So you can see everything there. It's good to go. Okay, so about the MOSFET for SCAR H. It can be done. Any VFC SCAR can have it. I know I've done it with my SCAR H SSR. So this is the stock connector, which, you know, they crimped to this and that the wiring was too exposed and started cutting itself off. So there was only half the prongs. I call them prongs, but they're the lining on the inside of the wiring. I forget what it's called from time to time. Basically, it wasn't there anymore. Not enough of it. So the resistance is a little bit tighter at that point. Plus, the motor connector just fell off. That's why I don't like when people tape the motor connectors, because you don't know how much, how well they hold on. So I took them off looking around, and definitely, so I got to do those too. But here's how you make a connector end. These just pop off. Where's the other one real quick? You can see here, this is the connector end that they use to the VFC. And the one's right here. And you just take something from like a GE connectors kit or anything like that. If you can get something like this, just pull off this plastic shilling, and what you're left with is this piece right here, and you just tap this on, and then you can crimp your wire in there. So obviously, I also tested this. It does fit into the body. Obviously, that's a good enough thing to do when you don't have these. And you can drill a hole in the back of the stock and still make a MOSFET work when people say it doesn't. Obviously, they don't know enough about technician stuff with guns to know that it still can be done. Where's a will, there's a way.